Hi friends, welcome to my channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Caitlin, and I like to film eyeshadow palette, ranking, and review videos, mostly for indie makeup, but occasionally for more mainstream makeup brands. If that sounds interesting to you, or you like eyeshadow palettes, you should hit that subscribe button because I post 2 videos every single week, and for those of you that are not new here, my face is happy that you are seeing it again. And for those of you who are not new here, or those of you that are new here, don't comment saying that I look tired, because I am. Okay. Anyways, I am tired, but instead of taking a nap, I am going to be testing out the new Pastel Garden palette from Bellabeautebar. I am so excited. I absolutely adore Bellabeautebar. If you've been around, you know that I have sung their praises for a while now. I did receive this palette in PR, so I am so thankful to Bellabeautebar for gifting this to me, and I do have a code with them. It is katelynhousemakeup, and it saves you 10%. So if I inspire you to purchase this palette and you want to use my affiliate code to save some money, I do make a small commission off of that and I would be very appreciative. So let's go ahead and get into some discussions about this palette and do some looks or a look. I haven't fully decided yet. Alright, so this palette is launching on April 5th. I believe the site is reopening at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I highly recommend checking my description box or going to Bellabeautebar's Instagram for confirmation of that. I know that they are restocking, or not restocking, but like opening a pre-order for the Make Your Own Magic bundle, which I'm pretty sure was my last video. And then, if it wasn't my last video, it was a recent video on my channel. And then this palette will be launching, and then they're also restocking the Poison Garden 2 palette. And I know I personally will be picking up the Poison Garden 2 palette because I think that color story is very pretty. So yeah, that's business on how this is launching. Let's talk about the palette. It comes in this box here. There's a 12-month open container, a cruelty-free little logo. It is made in the PRC and distributed by Bellabeautebar out of Sarasota, Florida. The eyeshadow shades do include talc and mica. And then I've never mentioned this before, but it's like really big letters, which I appreciate, because some brands I feel like make the ingredients like so tiny and you're like, wow, I have no idea what's in here. Anyways, they make them really big. So red, it looks like red 6 is in here, which I know is probably in most palettes that have like a red eyeshadow shade. I've just never noticed it before, but I've known people to be allergic to that. So I just wanted to mention all of that in case that was anything that you are interested in. The palette comes in this gorgeous faux leather packaging, which reminds me of like old school Natasha Denona, but also Adept. And it's in this purple shade that I am obsessed with. Purple is my favorite color. So I adore this. I think it's so pretty. Let's look at the inside of the palette. This is what the palette looks like. It is 36 shades. And then here is the giant mirror that will show you my whole setup here. It does say Bellabeautebar right there. The mirror is nice quality. So yeah, 36 shades. There are 12 of the 36 shades are shimmers, so 1/3 of the palette is shimmers. I do feel like all of the shimmers are special shimmers. Like there's some shiftiness or sparkliness to them. Bellabeautebar is amazing at shimmers, so I am glad that all of these shimmers are incredible. I have already swatched this palette. I will put that here because I filmed it for TikTok and Instagram. So I'm going to put this here. I did not film it for YouTube, so it's the wrong orientation. But anyways, here are the swatches. I did like these 3 in a row, these 3 in a row, like I kind of went that way. So I feel like you can sort of see where there's some shades that are similar. With 36 shades in an all pastel palette, there was bound to be some duplicates, so I'm not really that mad about it. And then I also did for the shade, here I'll show them, the shades Archangel and Cornflower. I'll put the picture up here. I did swatches of these with no primer, with my About Face eyeshadow base, which is what I have on my lids. It's called the Shadow Fix Primer. And then I also used the About Face white matte fluid paint, and I put the shades on top of that. The shades didn't really sit great on top of the matte fluid paint because that's really thick, and it was the back of my hand versus my eye. But I just wanted to showcase how pastel shades can be more vibrant on a lighter colored base versus on a translucent base or no base. So take with that what you will, but I'm ready to finally use this palette. I know that was a lot of talking. I just want to say, if you need spring makeup inspiration, just search hashtag pastel eyeshadow on Instagram, and there are some looks in there. Let me tell you, there are some gorgeous, gorgeous looks in there that I love. I thought they were so pretty. Starting with a BH Cosmetics, just like big fluffy brush, we're gonna go into the shade Slipper Orchid, which is the lightest mint shade, it would appear. And I'm gonna have this palette just kind of propped like that. And I am gonna go with my handheld mirror, which is dirty and I need to clean it. Like I said, I did use my About Face Shadow Fix Primer. I just felt like the shadows laid prettier on that versus like the matte fluid eye paint. And I didn't want to risk overall performance just to put these over a white base. And I use pastels all the time without a white base because I'm a very pale person, so that was just my choice. But, you know, we all know that pastels are going to perform better on a white base. So just something for us to all think about and be aware of. My brain might be all over the place in this video because I did have to go to work at 6 a.m. this morning for a 3.5-hour meeting starting at 6 a.m. my time. It was a nightmare and I have to do it again tomorrow. So that's why I'm not sure if I'm gonna do 2 looks right now and then edit this video tonight, or if I'm just gonna have time for 1 look, because me getting up at 6 a.m., usually I film before work and I do my makeup before work because I wake up at 6 a.m. and go to work at 8. But if I have to be at work at 6 a.m., it's not happening. It is not happening. So I don't know if you've been paying attention while I've just been chit-chatting, but this pastel shade is building really nicely. Upon first application, not the most pigmented, but it is a pastel. So like, let's manage expectations, you know? Now I want to go into Gladiolus, which hopefully you can see it. It's this like darker green down here, or it's kind of like a teal, I would argue. I'm taking my Blend Bunny Cosmetics B5 brush. That shade was nice and pigmented on initial application. I mean, I'm going in twice just because I want it a little bit more pigmented, but I felt like for a pastel shade, that's pretty solid. That is one of the deeper shades in this palette, I would argue, but I really want to do a pastel rainbow look with this palette. I'm not gonna lie, but don't worry, I'm keeping myself in check, sort of. Now I'm gonna go into the shade Lady's Mantle, and I'm using this BH Cosmetics. It's a number 8 brush. It's like a bulleted brush. Every single brush I own is dirty, so I'm just wiping these off with my color switch, but we're gonna apply that one now. I do feel like there's a noticeable difference between each of these shades, but they are still blending pretty nicely, but I don't really even think you have to spend that much time blending because they are so similar to each other. They're almost kind of blending into each other themselves. And if you blend too much, I feel like you're gonna kind of lose the difference of each shade. I'm usually not a pastel girly, so I feel like a lot of you are probably, that have been around, that have heard me talk a lot of smack about pastel palettes, are probably giving me a side eye right now. But listen, I went down that Instagram rabbit hole of pretty pastel looks and there's no going back. I just want to wear all the pastel eyeshadow now. Now we're going to use my absolute favorite shimmer in this palette. Based on the swatches, and it's the shade Pansy. I just think it looks so pretty. I don't really feel like dealing with glitter glue or anything, so we're just going to take a flat brush and go into Pansy. See how this picks up on a brush. If it doesn't pick up great on a brush, I'll use my finger. Kind of feels like that putty-ish type of formula where it moves around a little bit in the pan, but I'm going to spray that with Fix Plus. Oh my gosh, it's just straight up green. I wanted it to be like more of a purpley green, but oh, that's so pretty. That's definitely my favorite shade. I don't know if I have a similar shade in my collection, but if I don't, this is my new favorite eyeshadow shade just because of the colors. So pretty. I feel like you're all just seeing it look like a green shimmer on my lid, but it's purple in the pan. And there's like a hint of purple when I shift. Let me see if maybe this is not clean again. But does it shift purple? Ugh, I don't know if it's... It's not going to show up. Okay, so now I'm going in with my finger because the brush I really was just using to get more of a sharp outline in the crease. I don't know if you can kind of tell, but there's almost like a purple base to it with like a green shimmer. This is the prettiest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Just this shade right here. I'm going to take the shade Knockout Rose, which is this like magenta purple shimmer. I'm going to tap that along the edges of where we just put that other shade. Because I did want a little bit more purple to this look. I wanted it to be purple and green. And I also want to test out, because this shade I feel like is almost like darker than most of the mattes in this palette, which is something that I think is important to know. Just because I know it's a pet peeve for a lot of people. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but I have plenty of palettes where that's true, and I've used them, liked them, lived, so I'm not that mad about it if it is the case. All right, so let's see if we can build up this green to like blend into the purple. I don't know if I love it. Let me see if I can, see if we can deepen this corner up a bit more. This is a Blend Bunny Cosmetics B4. I'm going into the shade Bluebell, which is kind of a mid-tone blue, so I don't know how much this is going to help. Yeah, it doesn't help us at all. Maybe it does. It's adding a pretty tone to the... I don't know if it's deepening anything up, but sort of adding a pretty color. I do like it better with the blue. I feel like it's just blending into that purple shade a little bit better. I don't know that it's actually adding depth, but yeah, that's prettier. Okay. Okay, that was super easy, but that's basically the eye look. I'm gonna percolate on what I'm gonna do with my lower lash line while I do the rest of my face. So you'll either see me with my lower lash line already done and I'll tell you what I did, which will mean that I probably just used the same mats that I used up top, or I will show you the lower lash line. You will find out in 2 seconds. Obviously back to do the lower lash line. I feel like I wanna do purples on the lower lash line. So I think we're gonna go iris, hibiscus, and lavender. Oh, geez. On the lower lash line. So, luckily these are all kind of lighter shades, so I don't think you can really get your lower lash line like too crazy, you know? But maybe you can. I don't know. We're about to find out. I'm going to take this Morphe M124 brush. It's just the first one I grabbed. I'm going to go in with that darkest shade. Darkest in quotes. Iris. I do feel like there is deeper pastels in this palette. When this palette was first announced or revealed, I posted it on my story and said, ooh, like a pastel palette with some depth. And a lot of people were really mad that I said that there was depth in this palette, but I meant from like a pastel palette standpoint. Like most of the time, all pastel palettes don't have any deeper shade. They're truly pastels. And so I felt like there was some deeper pastels is what I was meaning with that. Okay. Ooh, I'm glad I went with that purple. I think I'm going to take this next brush and just go into hibiscus, which is the next lighter shade. But I'm just going to take it a little bit more. Yeah, the purple was the move. I think this is really pretty. I think if you're somebody who's afraid of color but wants to get into color, pastels are a great place to start because they're just more muted. Like this look I'm doing, I have like 6 different colors on my lid, so don't, you know, take this look with a grain of salt as I say this. But if you wanted to do like a monochromatic pastel look, like that's gonna be soft and subtle and probably not as, you know, like bright in your face as, you know, some other colorful looks you could do. I'm now taking the shade Lavender on this Morphe M433 brush, and I'm just using that to blend out that lower lash line. All right, that's basically the lower lash line and stuff. Let me show the inner corner before I go off camera. If I have a clean inner corner brush. I don't have a clean one. So this is the Sigma shader inner corner, the E46. And I'm going to take this shade right here, which is called Astrantia. I know nothing about plants and flowers. And I'm gonna put this on the inner corner, and this looks like kind of more purpley, which I think is pretty with this look. That's basically gonna be the look. Let me do my lashes and I will come back and show you the finished look. Here is the finished look. Let me get up real nice and close and personal so you can see what the look looks like. I really like how this look turned out. I think it's really pretty. I really didn't come into this with any sort of plan. Like, I feel like you have so many options as long as you want to do a pastel look with this palette. Obviously, it is a pastel palette, so you can only do a pastel look, but I think this is really pretty. I've only played with like 8 shades, so I use these 2 down here, that one right there, so those 3 greens, this whole like half of this row right here, so these 3 purples, so that's 6, and then this shade right here, and then that shade, so 8, oh, and 9. Oh, and then I put in Bluebell, 10. I've used 10 out of 36 shades, so like a little under a third of the palette. Obviously this is a first impressions video, but as far as longevity goes with the Bellabeautebar formula that I've tried in the past, I've never had issues with creasing or, well, I should say I haven't had any issues outside of what I normally experience with creasing or longevity of any other eyeshadows. I always get some creasing like right here on my lid no matter which eyeshadow I'm wearing. For the most part, there's like one formula I think that doesn't crease at all, but most of the time stuff creases. They haven't stood out as a formula that's ever really like been significant creasing on me. They are like sparkly shimmers, so if they do crease, I feel like this type of formula is a little bit easier to kind of like tap out because it's just so creamy that it kind of like all clumps together, and then you can just sort of press it out, and it's less of a fading issue, more of like just a collecting in one spot issue. But yeah, I am just gonna do this look for today, only because I am exhausted. So I just am really tired. I will probably be doing a look on my TikTok soonish, so definitely follow me over there, katelynhousemakeup, if you would like to see another look with this palette, or comment down below if you would like to see a multiple looks video with this palette. I am going on vacation next week. Yeah, I leave next Wednesday for a week. I'm going to Atlanta, so I won't be able to do that for like a little bit, but I could definitely do a multiple looks video with this at some point if you were interested. So let me know if you're interested in that in the comments down below. Overall, really like the palette. I don't know the price. If I can find that information on Bellabeautebar's Instagram, I will make sure to put that in the link down below. I will also include my affiliate link to Bellabeautebar's site if you want to shop through there. But yeah, also, like I said, the code to save 10% is katelynhousemakeup. Let me know if you are interested in picking this palette up, or if pastels aren't really your jam. They're not normally my jam, but I feel like I got a pretty cool pastel look with this palette. Better than any look I've gotten with that Natasha Denona pastel palette, let me tell you. I do like this one better than that so far upon first impression. So anyways, if you want to hear ongoing thoughts, or if it frustrates you to just hear first impressions and not get a full review, just know that I do rank every eyeshadow palette that I try in the month at the next month. So every palette that I use in the month of April will be Every palette that I used in the month of April will be ranked in May. I will put a video sharing just probably more fleshed out thoughts. I'm imagining that I'll be using this palette quite a bit this month. It is perfect for spring. So yeah, that's where you can check that out. If you're not subscribed, you'll want to be so that you don't miss that. But yeah, that's everything for me today. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Bye!